A petition asking Albertans if they think the province should stay in Canada has now been verified and declared successful by Elections Alberta. The Alberta Forever Canada citizen petition has now enough signatures needed to be considered successful under the province's Citizen Initiative Act. Elections Alberta says it has verified more than 400,000 signatures. That's more than 100,000 than were needed for it to be verified. And the petition will next go to the legislature so that the referendum question can be referred to a committee. The man behind that petition is Thomas Lukaszuk. He joins me now, and he's also a former Deputy Premier of Alberta. Thank you so much, Thomas, for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So this petition that you organized, it's been verified. That's got to make you feel pretty good.
It does, but you know, the real thank you goes to the over 6,000 canvassers that we had across the province of Alberta, collecting signatures for 3 months, day and night. So it really is their success.
Why did you feel that you needed to organize this petition?
Well, it became abundantly obvious that our Premier, Danielle Smith, and a group of separatists were setting a stage for a separatist petition to be filed. She has amended the Citizens Initiative Act and lowered the number of signatures that they would need. And they even scheduled a date when they would file, which was the American Independence Day, July 4th. So I kiboshed their plans a little, and I filed my petition before them. So my petition went forward. And here we are. Thankfully, the petition has been certified, and nearly 500,000 of Albertans have spoken loud and clear that we are proud of being Canadian and we want nothing to do with separatism. Have we had more time, or was this petition online? The number of signatures would go into millions for sure.
So you say that you have kiboshed their plans, but essentially you have brought this question to a referendum, which I think you could argue was, if there is a plan on the other side of this argument, is also their plan. Do you have concerns about the question being posed to the electorate in the form of a referendum?
Well, no, I'm sorry to have to correct you, but your supposition is incorrect. We filed our petition under the legislative pathway, which gives the Premier an opportunity to do the right thing. And instead of calling a referendum, she actually can call a question in the Alberta legislature and have all the elected members of Parliament vote on this very simple question: do you believe that Alberta should remain in Canada? And if they voted in favor of it, which I'm sure they would, this issue would be laid to rest, and Premier Smith can focus on building Alberta's economy and carry on a good pathway with Prime Minister Carney, signing MOUs. But if she chooses to do what's politically expedient for her political party, where she has separatists, she will then call a referendum. Unlike our petition, the petition that separatists wanted to file, that would have been filed under a constitutional pathway, which would force the Premier to have a referendum. The petition that just got certified today by Elections Alberta gives the Premier of Alberta two choices. She can do the right thing and just call a question in the legislature and put this issue to bed, or she can engage in a divisive referendum campaign, which will further divide Albertans and frankly cause a lot of economic damage to the province and to the country.
Can I ask you, what do you think she's going to do?
You know, with Premier Danielle Smith, it's hard to tell. If you listen to what she says, she will do the right thing and she will call a question in the legislature. But because of the fact that she's actually aiding separatists in filing their petition, and recently she actually sought an intervener status in court fighting on behalf of separatists, would make you think that she is favoring the separatist side. So it's really hard to tell. You know, this is the biggest petition in the history of Alberta since 1905, when Alberta became a province. Has there ever been a petition of this size tabled? And this issue is really binary, and it's really easy to tell which is the right thing to do and which is the wrong thing to do. If she wants to continue negotiating with Ottawa and doing the right things for Alberta, she simply should just call a vote in the legislature. This province is so divided on so many political issues. Last thing we need to do is go through a very divisive referendum campaign. You know, we're heading into Christmas season right now, and we have family members not talking to family members. It is really easy to figure out what the right thing to do is, and I'm really hoping that the Premier will do the right thing.
I mean, so in terms of your petition, you did, 13.6% of electors in the province did sign this petition. So that is a large number. It's not potentially the number that would necessarily vote in a referendum. That could be even higher. But do you feel, were this to go to a referendum, how do you feel about the position and what you would like to see happen, which is that Alberta would forever stay as part of Canada?
You know, I drove across this province all summer long in what we call the Unity Bus, put over 7,000 kilometers. And I spoke with those who favor separation and those who favor staying in Canada. And, you know, I don't bet a lot, but if I was to bet, the division would be somewhere between 75-25 in favor of staying in Canada. There is a small minutia of Albertans who are what I would refer to as hardcore separatists, and that's no more than 10% of Albertans. There are some who are flirting with the idea of separation, but vast majority of Albertans, 75 to 80% of Albertans, want nothing to do with this, and they're actually asking themselves the question: why are we even talking about this? There are so many more important provincial, national, and international issues that we should be focusing on.
Thomas Lukaszuk, organizer of the Forever Canadian petition and former Deputy Premier of Alberta. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.